Hello, I'm Corey. Welcome to episode 19 of Flips, Flaps, and Folds. This one will probably be the quickest yet, and it's so basic and so common that I almost feel guilty. But you've seen it, or we've all seen it, in every junk journal ever made. And the beauty of it is it works for any size and any square paper. I prefer book page or scraps of paper that have been sewn together for this particular thing. But any double-sided paper works well. You could even use single-sided if you wanted to use your digital kits. It just, will print, you'll see print on different spots. And it just opens up and folds down, and then you can write inside, or you can use this as a tuck spot or an envelope. It just literally starts with a square, and it's probably should have been in my Scrap Buster video that I've been working on, but they're just, I make them with scraps all the time, but they're so cool and so handy, and they just make this great little addition to a journal. You can tuck this in a pocket. You can, do double-sided and line this with writing paper if you want. It's just really easy, really fun, and like I said, most people have seen them or make them frequently, but in case you don't, this is just a good reminder. All right, here's, like I said, several samples, and I will show you how to do it. Any size square works. Now, the smallest that I've done is 4x4, and oh, shoot, let me zoom in just a little bit. I didn't realize I was so far out. This one is a 4x4, and it's pretty small. Its final measurement is about 2x2. So you, I suppose, could go smaller, but it just gets more challenging to do. So 4x4 ends up as a 2x2. All right, and I use it sometimes just to tuck, a little tag or something in, because of that the bottom piece makes a little tuck spot, and the top is just kind of a little flap or fold. You can do as a partial, or you can tuck the whole thing in like well, maybe you can tuck the whole thing in. You can if you put it in there correctly. There we go. Little tuck like that. You can also use it, this piece, just put a little bit of an embellishment or something on the side, a circle tab, or here it's just a stamp, and that will hold the little flip that holds the envelope closed. I guess that's sort of an envelope. It looks like an envelope, but it's kind of like a writing fold envelope thing. Maybe it has a name, but I have no idea what it is. All right, so enough talking. Let me share it with you. All right. Any square piece of paper. This one is a 7.5 by 7.5, so it doesn't really matter. You turn it on a diagonal so that you're working with the points, the top and bottom points. Take the bottom point and carry it up to the top and crease. Then open it back up, and you take your bottom point and put it to the middle line, the midline score that you just created, the midline fold you just created, okay? Then you're going to fold that bottom back up. So you folded in half, opened up, taken the bottom to the center and creased. Now you're going to fold that center back up. So you've got kind of like the beginning of a paper hat, I guess. Then you're going to take the right or the left, and it doesn't really matter which one, and you're going to fold it in. And there's not really a measurement. It's kind of an eyeball. I generally use the line that I folded on the bottom as my guideline. I want to make sure I overlap that just a little bit. So I want my right or left flap to be a little bit larger than, a little bit taller than the fold line I created at first. If you go too far, they won't tuck. So you don't want to go too terribly far. But the other thing I do is I'll line it up on my work surface like I've got here. I know I'm down below, but here, right there. Okay, I'll line it up on my work surface so that my second fold is at about the same spot. So my other side, they don't have to be identical by any means, but just for the sake of symmetry, I try to make them pretty close. And then I'll line, you can see here, where I folded it up on that straight line on my grid. And then you you've got the two little flaps, and then you've just open one of the flaps, and like I said, it doesn't matter. It can be the right or the left. And you tuck the bottom piece into it. All right? So it's an envelope. And then you take your top piece. Well, I do it like this way just because it's easier for me to see what I'm doing. And you kind of give it like a little smoosh where you tuck it under. You don't want it to necessarily, well, I guess you could. I mean, there's no rules. You don't necessarily want it to go over, but you want it kind of like that. All right, and this is what it looks like when you're done. It's an envelope, and you can open it up, and you can write inside or put little confettis or whatever you want in there, and hold it back up. You can glue it down. I've done it that way where you glue it, and this just makes a little tuck, but you can also just tuck it into a pocket. Makes a great addition to a pocket or a substitute to a tag. And I also do this with, I cut two pieces there. I also do this with scrap paper that I've sewn together. So I'll have bits and pieces of scraps and I'll sew them together like this. And then I can turn them into an envelope to just create a little bit more interest. It turns out to be kind of like this one where I've got the vellum over the music, or just depending on what pieces of paper. It's a little bit thicker, so sometimes your folds will be a little bit more bulky. But it's the same exact thing, and I'll do it again. Put it at a diagonal, bottom to the top, and crease. Open it back up, take the bottom corner and fold it to the center. Don't fold it over the center because then it'll get in the way. Then fold that back up like you're closing it up again, so it looks like a paper hat. Take the right or the left and fold it towards the center, I guess maybe a third-ish of the way through. I don't know, something like that. If you go too far, your envelope won't fold nicely. And you do want to try to get it straight, so where you're lining up the fold to match the bottom. And then the other side. Oh, that's right. See what happens here? And you can do it cattywampus like this too. But see what happens if I don't line them up? It doesn't, you know, honestly, I would use purple tape if I were doing this not so quickly. Let's go like this, and I'll line it up there so that the two match up. And I'll make sure I'll use this line as a guideline so that my edges or sides match up, sort of. All right, and you can see I did that a little bit off. No problem. I will just refold it. Oh, see, it's still cattywampus. Okay, let's try that again, Corey. That's what happens. It's been a long day. Sometimes my teacher hat gets extra heavy and I wear it a lot longer than I want to. I start a new term tomorrow and I have several new students, so I was getting all of that stuff ready. All right, and then you've just fold down your top and your envelope is good to go. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that gave you an idea or reminded you of an idea you already know. And I have pretty much ready to go tomorrow's Scrap Busters, so hopefully you'll join me then for a Scrap Busters video. Take care and happy creating.